Hello and welcome to the Varietal Show. My name is Rory, and you're watching varietal-literature.ca's YouTube channel. Of course, that's also our webpage. We're a group of writers from Vancouver who just like to have fun with narrative. And what we do here on Thursday nights at 6:30 is we do some live writing, which is mostly silly, but it's trying to capture that sort of spirit of what it is to create something and maybe demystify what it is to write something. Which is, I don't think I've ever said that, but that has always been kind of my goal, because I feel like writing gets overly romanticized about how it's done and like the genius pulled from the brain and the raw emotion and blah, 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 blah. There's moments of that, but not really. A lot of it is just sort of structured and fun. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And we always take a bit of a twist on how to approach it, just to be, I don't know, just for fun, just something to add something to the mix. And what we're doing tonight, and by the way, if you don't care about the explanation or anything, there are timestamps in the description if you're not watching this live. So if it's not Thursday, May 12th at 6:30 p.m., then you're not watching it live, and you can click those timestamps. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to remind you or introduce you, depending on your age, of a way that advertisements used to be done, which was basically they wrote these weird little short stories in like magazine ads. They'd have a big picture of the product, but there'd be sometimes very wordy short stories about you and the product and the role it plays in your life. And it was an amazingly popular style. Like it goes back to at least like the 20s and 30s and kept up pretty much. I mean, I remember seeing it in the 90s and even the 2000s. And then after that, it started getting more abstract and less wordy and more pictures. But and I think I have a theory on why that is, and we can babble about that later. But what I want to do tonight is I want to try and explore the notion of subtext and sort of constrained language. And what I mean by that is I will explain it more fully later, but I want to talk about having an argument through different copies, like two advertisers writing advertising copy that is the subtext is it's a response and a fight they're having, which sounds strange. That's where funny and good drama can come from. Or maybe it'll be stupid. If you only want to see the results, again, check the timestamp if you're not watching it live. You can skip ahead and see how the results, see how everything came out. If you want to see how it gets cooked with us in chat, hang around and we'll watch it together. I see GS is there, and GS says, good evening. Well, good evening, GS. It's good to see you. The first thing we do, sometimes do, we're less consistent on this. First section we do is a very brief Left on Red. Left on Red is book recommendations. It's things that I've read or watched, or even games that I've played that I feel have a good narrative that I think people should give a shot at watching, reading, or playing. And the thing I realized today that I've never actually pitched here on Left on Red is a thing I've been reading on our Tuesday night streams, which is Fireside Fairy Tales. It's where we read old stories together. And it's this collection of old stories called Nordic Tales. And I got it for my birthday, which is April 1st. There's a show I did on my birthday. And Nordic Tales, a collection of tales. I mean, you can go and watch the last month's Fireside Fairy Tales. They've all been tales from this, if you prefer to have it read to you. However, if you also like the art and it's just nice to have a token in your hand, these are some of the best I've read. I mean, there are ones outside of this that are also really good that are part of Fireside Fairy Tales. But like Jack of Solm and the Gan Finn, the last story in the book, is one of, I wouldn't have found it without this book, is one of the best stories I've ever read. And one of the more famous stories, which we have read on this channel, but a long time ago, that's also in here, not a long time ago, like 6 or 7 months on Fireside Fairy Tales, is East of the Sun and West of the Moon. That's another excellent one. There's lots of really good stories in this book. I do recommend it. It's called Nordic Tales, and it is illustrated by someone named Ulla Tennell, which I don't know, and I don't know who actually compiled the collection. It doesn't tell you. But it's a collection of publicly available stories. If you are local, I found it at Granville Island. In a bit of an unexpected place. It was like a paper shop near the main grocery area. But pardon me. But for the rest of you, you may have to search around online. And that's our Left on Red. See, nice and short. That's my recommendation if you're looking for some stories. Nice and short, punchy, fun. Which means that it is time to go to Litgames. Litgames stands for Literature Games. It's where we play games with literature. And it will be the core thing we do. It's the live writing that we do. Now, the Lit game we're doing tonight, I will explain it and expand on it a bit. There is a very specific way that old advertising copy was written, and it borders on short stories, like postcard stories, sometimes even like flash fiction. It's long enough to classify as, where you would have a big picture of the product or somebody with the product, and then below it, there'd be a block of text that would describe your experience or something. And I'm going to pull up an example here so that you guys have a chance to see what that is like. Here. Now, this stuff is quite famous for being almost always tremendously sexist and weirdly sexual, which might be more a commentary on advertising in general. But here, I will read you this real advertisement for Eternal Tint Oil Shampoo, which I assume is a shampoo with a dye in it. It opens, you can't see the full top there. It just says, "Tomorrow, a younger girl will take over my job. A younger me." So you have your premise there. And then look at that block of text. Can you imagine anywhere on the internet somebody having an advertisement where there is a block of text to read? Anyways, "I shall begin today by entering my beauty salon. Here, trained eyes will inspect my dull brown hair. Note every aging streak of gray." God, that's so gross. "Soon a glistening shower of foam will bubble around my head, and I shall shut my eyes, relax every tired nerve. When I open my eyes again, I will see what appears to be a new face in the mirror. My face, framed by sparkling, lustrous hair with the soft appearance of youth. I will straighten my body, my eyes come alive, and tomorrow a new, younger me will walk into my office, for I shall have had an eternal treatment." And it says, "Your beauty operator knows best. Send for free booklet. You can appear 15 years younger." And it goes on about, for dollar graying hair. Okay, so it's an advertisement for shampoo. But what I find interesting here, obviously the point of this is to make women really insecure so that they'll buy their shampoo. And, it's pretty plainly written by some dude from Mad Men with not so great opinions on women in general. We can engage with that, I guess, in a comedic way if we want. That's not really my target here. My target here is the weirdness of a block of text that describes like lived experience with a shampoo or leather or whatever else it is they're trying to sell. And in that, I had this concept of, I might be alone on this, but whenever I've ever read these things, I've always felt like the subtext was the personal problems of the person who wrote it. So like sometimes there would be advertisements, about women cleaning the kitchen, and it really would feel like a dude complaining that his wife doesn't clean well enough. Like it on its surface would be like from the perspective of the woman or whatever else, but I felt like there was always this subtext of he was like venting a side of an argument in a national release about advertising, for his job. Now I might be alone in that. So we don't have to do that. We can just sort of write it for modern things, as I said in the title. But I thought it'd be interesting if we took this style of writing, pick some products, but we frame them as being written by two different people who are having an argument that stretches over several days, which means we have to decide who those two characters are, what their problem with each other is, and then we'll do some advertisements around it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, the point is to try things. I just think it's fun to play around with subtext. So, like, for example, it could be like, Roy's scouring dish pads. Something so easy a man could clean the pans for once. You know, like where it's really clear that it's written by someone who's really trying to say, why the hell don't you clean pans better? GS says, but remember, almost all ad writers were men. Yeah, and still are, frankly. I just think it'd be funny if it's an argument. It doesn't, I mean, it could be two men having an argument, frankly. But given how many products are about a traditional domestic structure, I just felt like that would work. The capture, go away. So we will write that here. So by the way, if you want to see advertisements done, or sorry, corporate versions of poems that we did last week, you can do that. Go and look at that one. Or not. Come on, there we go. Selling our grievances. That's what I'm going to call this section. Okay, so character 1. I don't want to dwell on names. Let's call it Joe B. And character 2. Sandra D. Okay, let's do just some basic facts about them. Age, I don't know, 28? Let's put them on the young side. Nah, 28's still too idealistic. Let's say like 39. GS says Mortimer. I like that better. We'll go with Mortimer. Sandra can be, I mean, traditionally younger, right? But yeah, sure, why not? That seems more classical. Levon. I like that. Getting good names. Okay, and brief description. I'm gonna say, if you guys have any traits you want to add in, you go right ahead in the chat. If you don't know, there's a live chat. If I'm not being clear, GS is feeding me some names here. But if you guys have things you want to add to this, you can go right ahead and do that. Just in the middle of the age of the bald spot, an average man of average height that wears contacts to work but squints and complains about printing being too small these days at home. Okay, Levon. Like, I'm not giving a thorough overview. Oh, I see. Dandruff. His shoulders are often dusted with dandruff. Okay, brief description of Levon. Wears a high practical ponytail most days. Likes a fitted suit for work, though things aren't fitting so well these last few years. There's a high practical ponytail most days, likes a fitted suit for work, though things aren't fitting so well these last few years. Let's just say she's gotten good with stitching buttons in her office at work. Not opposed to some domesticity. But enjoys the thrill of a good sale. Or promotion. GS has a very specific one, and I'll trust them on this. Wears a thong despite its discomfort. Because she hates a panty line. I should say the thrill of making a good sale is what I was trying to say there. I realize that sounds like going shopping. Or chasing a promotion. Okay. So we have a description. What would Levon... Well, first of all, I mean, what are Levon and Mortimer's relationship? I feel like marriage is probably the safest bet here because, like, I think this is going to work best on the petty details. I think, like, pettiness is the subtext revealer that will make or break this. So I do think they should be married. I think from there though, like, what should be the core argument? Because, like, the temptation might be to go for something big. It might be tempting to say, like, oh, we're going to talk about you know, the fact that they I don't know, like, he wrecked the car and she has to take the bus, or like, or you know, suspicions of infidelity or something really high drama. But I actually think it would work best if it's like they are debating or arguing about who should do what house cleaning or who should do more, and that they both believe that they do too much. Because I feel like that's a really common thing for everybody living together, is to enter into that subjectivity hole where you are convinced you are the only one who does stuff, because you're never there when other people are doing it, but they are there when they do it, and so they're convinced that they're the only one who does stuff because they never see you do it. I don't know. Maybe people who've had more arguments in their lives, especially petty ones, can let me know what we should do. What is Levon and Mortimer arguing about? I'm actually going to shrink up this text a bit. I really want this to fit on a single page. There we go. Okay. Levon and Mortimer's argument. Maybe Mortimer just says, who puts gas in the car, who washes it, garbage, shopping for groceries, cleaning the toilet, making the morning coffee. I'm just going to copy and paste this. These are all great ones. Who puts gas in the car is one of those things that's so specific but so true and like universally relatable. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna say there's the overall arguments that we will deal with, and then who washes the sheets? An excellent one. Who washes the sheets? And then I'm gonna introduce the first idea of subtext, because in case you don't know, I do occasionally jam concepts that we work in writing into this show so that you'll learn stuff about writing, maybe, if you want. So like Levon and Mortimer's subtext of the argument might be that Mortimer feels tired and believes that woman shouldn't be working but should rather care for his home. However, he sees himself as progressive and knows they need the money. Levon what does Levon want? What would be her subtext? Oh boy, I'm stuck on that. I mean, I guess Levon has tried in the honeymoon period of their marriage to satisfy this unfair requirement of Mortimer, and in doing so became resentful. She now wishes to get even with him. Because she feels, and because she feels somewhat responsible for her predicament, is avoiding any direct conversation that might force that fact to the surface. So the point of subtext is when you have, in writing, is when you have arguments and so on. The basic idea of an argument in writing and things like that in conversations is that they're never really about what they're talking about. There's always another layer to it. Okay, so with this in mind, we'll just start with the first problem here, and we'll say that Mortimer wrote it. Who puts gas in the car? Now, what's a product we could wrap around who puts gas in a car? That's a tough one. How do you... I mean, I guess we could just say gas, and then part of the comedy of it would be the fact that he is just going out of his way to work in his own grievances. So this is Mortimer's... No, let's size that up again. Mortimer's copy for lose, gas, and dash. Lose. Why did the size change? There we go. Lose. Gas and dash is quicker than a wink. Let's go with corny. And then we'll do the story here. God, it really wants to size that down. Why does it want to keep doing that? Okay. Lose dash and gas and dash is quicker than a wink. You're coming home from work and want to get to your castle to kick up your feet. But oh no, the old someone has used the car's gas, but shockingly not refilled it. Once again, it falls to you, despite how tired you are from a long day of work. GS says loses like 7-Eleven and has pizza and wings sitting at a tepid temperature for hours, and that's his contribution to shopping and provide for dinner. Okay, I think I can work that in. Long day of long day of work. Despite how tired you are from a long day of work. So, you pick the classic lose. Oh, hey, Big Drew. Man, this is going to be a tough one to explain to you, but I think you'll have fun with it once you get the hang of what we're doing here. Lose gas and dash. It's also good to see you. So you pick the classic lose dash, gas and dash conveniently on your way home. Because it is the quickest fueling in the Northeast. And they even have hot food, like tasty pizzas and chicken wings. Let's say always hot food. Always hot food. Like tasty pizzas and chicken wings. Ready to go for dinner. So even though you gotta get gas, you have to, I guess, It's copy. You have to get gas once again, since no one else does it, even though they use it as well. You can at least get out quick with a dinner that they also won't like. They also won't like, but you'll love. Lose, dash, gas, and dash. They understand your struggles. Wait, they understand how hard a day's work can be. All right. So I'll really explain things here, Big Drew. I imagine we'll get. We might be able to get 2 more out. So I'm talking about the idea that old school advertisements, and by old school I mean pretty much from the 1920s to the early 2000s. Even you'd still see them, where you get those big. I'll just show you one. You get these kind of big pictures, and they have big blocks of text on them that tell you things about like shoes and stuff, and they're framed basically as little short stories, experiential short stories about the product. And so I'm playing with the idea that we have 2 characters who are a married couple. They both write that kind of stuff. They're both in an argument about various things. And so they are working in the subtext of their advertisements, sides of this argument or points of this argument. So our first character is Mortimer B. He's age 39. He's in the middle of the age of the bald spot, an average man of average height that wears contacts to work but squints and complains about printing being too small these days at home. His shoulders are often dusted with dandruff. And then we have character 2, who's Levon D, age 35, wears a high practical ponytail most day, likes a fitted suit for work, though things aren't fitting so well these last few years. Let's just say she's gotten good with stitching buttons in her office at work. Not opposed to some domesticity, but enjoys the thrill of making a good sale or chasing a promotion. Wears a thong despite its discomfort because she hates a panty line. And then we talked a little bit about their argument. Levon and Mortimer's argument is basically various tasks, like who puts gas in the car, who washes it, garbage, shopping for groceries, cleaning the toilet, making the morning coffee, who washes the sheet. These kind of like tasks that people bicker about. And we had a bit of subtext there. I don't think that's real important for this, to be honest. It just was a discussion. But this is Mortimer. This is the first one we did. Mortimer's copy for the Lose, Gas, and Dash. Lose, Gas, and Dash is quicker than a wink. You're coming home from work and you want to get to your castle to kick up your feet. But oh no, someone has used the car's gas, but shockingly not refilled it. Once again, it falls to you, despite how tired you are from a long day of work. So you pick the classic Lose, Gas, and Dash conveniently on your way home because it is the quickest fueling in the Northeast. And they even have always hot, let's put a hyphen there, food such as tasty pizzas and chicken wings ready to go for dinner. So even though you have to get gas once again, since no one else does it even though they use it as well, you can at least get out quick with a dinner that they also won't like but you'll love. Lose, Gas, and Dash. They understand how hard a day's work can be. So we see there is Mortimer feels that his wife uses up gas and never refills it, and that is her fault. So now we got to come to Levon. Sorry, I said Lou, I meant Levon. Levon's copy, and Levon's copy will be a response to that, but a different product. So we have to think of like, what's a product that frames her for responding? Levon's copy for so he's complaining that she never fills the gas, and then he's got to do it and bring food home, and she doesn't even like the food that he brings home. I do really like the sheets one. I feel like, you know, the idea of washing sheets is an interesting one because you both use them, but obviously, just says great tagline. Yeah, I was happy with that. Obviously, like, yeah, Big Drew says laundry soap. I think you're right. Levon's copy for, Little Lisa's laundry powder. Yeah, I think the bed linens are a good move. I think that's our next target. Little, oh man, I got it. Little Lisa's laundry powder. Okay, give me a second here. Little Lisa's laundry powder. Powerful on stains. Simple enough for a man. I'm also laughing because when I was growing up, as I'm sure most people in my generation remember, there was this tagline of like Gillette, made for a woman, strong enough for a man, or something strong enough for a man, made for a woman. It was like the most condescending thing. Even when I was like 12, I was like, oh, this is a weird thing to say. Anyways, it's time again that you go to the unpopular aisle of the grocery store alone. I don't know why the text got small on me again. Really wants to make this text small. Let's see if I can fix that for good. He said, knowing nothing fixes anything for good. It's time again that you go to that unpopular aisle of the laundry store, or the grocery store alone. Well, the boys browse snacks and meats. You know what needs doing most. When they're done flipping meat, then the real work begins. The stains on their shirts. I do like Big Drew's recommendation here to call it quick wash. Little Lisa's quick wash, because I feel like we could do something with that. And dipping chips. Let's up the ante. The stains on their shirts. You're a busy lady, though. You have a job, a house to run, and an intrusive, socially defined beauty routine that they just will never understand. You don't have time for this. But you know they aren't gonna figure out the detergent on their own. I'm gonna put a copy note here. Copy note. Include picture of pink shirt with confused man mixing colors and whites. Colored and white laundry. You don't have time for their manly stains? GS said, oh, that's amazing. You don't have time for their manly stains. But you know, detergents are just too complicated for the simpler sex. Little Lisa's quick wash laundry powder to the rescue. It's a cup tipped in and flip the switch, then all things get cleaned. Wait, then just flip. I'm gonna just flip the switch. It's so simple. Even a man could do it. But since they won't, they've already gone into the basement with some heat lamp chicken wings from the gas station. At least it's easy for you. Little Lisa's quick wash laundry powder. Oh, wow, that's great, Big Drew. Oh man, there's some good stuff coming up. GS says, if it's sticky, use this quickie. If it's sticky, use this quickie. Big Drew says, a cup of soap for your laundry and a glass of wine for you. I love it. It's a cup of soap for the laundry and a glass of wine for you. A glass of wind. It's so simple, even a man could do it. But since they won't, they've gone to the basement with some heat lamp chicken wings from the gas station. At least it's easy for you. If it's sticky, use this quickie. I must say, I am enjoying writing Levon the most so far. Okay, so Mortimer's been deeply insulted. How is Mortimer going to respond? Oh dear. I hope I didn't deafen anyone with that. Mortimer's copy I think we can do one more. We're averaging like one every 15 minutes, so I think that we can do one more. Big Drew says charcoal briquettes for the barbecue. Let me think about that for a moment. Yeah, because then he can make it a response where he's trying to make the case that it's a lot more work to barbecue. Yeah, I think that could work. Absolutely. Fortunately, this means that because of how time's going to work out, this means that Mortimer will get 2 and Levon's only going to get 1, which is unfortunate. Unless we can do a really quick one in the end. Mortimer's copy for charcoal briquettes. Charcoal Chappie. I hope Chappie's not a slur or something. It feels borderline slurry. I'm sure it's not, though. Copy for Charcoal Chappie's Big Taste. You know what I've discovered is the easiest and most fun things to write are the things that you hate. And I really, really, really hate the stupid twee way that advertisement treats a person on the whole, especially older ones. And it makes it internally funny to me. Mortimer's copy for Charcoal Chappie's Big Taste Briquettes. Charcoal Chappie's Big Taste Briquettes. For when the meat needs a man's touch. I'm not gonna build on that. I'm just gonna let that float into the ether. Yeah, exactly, GS. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we'll open with that. Barbecuing is often misunderstood. Particularly by women more satisfied by a salad than a good piece of meat. Big Drew says that's terrible, Ray. I love it. We'll tell no one. Let's just say we found it. I really love the subtext of it, though, in an argument with your wife. But you're a man who recognizes meat on a grill is as rustic as it is a fine art, with a lineage to the exotic lands of Hawaii and good old America. Good old and the good old South, I should say. I'm still laughing about for when the meat needs a man's touch. Is as rustic as it is a fine art with lineage to the exotic lands of Hawaii in the good old South. I hope people recognize that there is satirical nature in calling Hawaii exotic, or any place exotic. If you don't know, like, it's weird to do that because exotic is determined by a certain point of perspective, and to just offer it as an adjective of a place is to presume your perspective is the universal one and these are variants. So that's why it's kind of a toxic thing to say. And at least 7 of the 49 other states. You are ready to join the lineage of brothers at the grill, despite it being really hot and genuinely difficult work to get right. Sure, anyone could just flip some meat on some fire, but you know you need the care of a good smoldering briquette. You need charcoal chappy, or is it chappy charcoal? Charcoal chappy. You need charcoal chappies, refined briquettes, I guess. Refined barbecue magic. Your wife doesn't understand why you're not getting the cheap stuff. But you know, for all that hard, sweaty, really quite difficult, despite how it looks from the outside, work of barbecuing. Okay, Big Drew, I think we're gonna put that right at the end because that's amazing. Your wife doesn't understand why you're not getting the cheap stuff, but you know, for all that hard, sweaty, really quite difficult, despite how it looks from the outside, work of barbecuing a good piece of meat, of finessing the fine flavors of your meat from the ambient, from the subtle heat is not possible with just some generic briquettes. You are going to join the lineage of men working their meat to the best it can be. You are a brother in smoke, brother bonded in smoke. This is from Big Drew. Artists akin to Monet or Picasso. You are a brother ready to paint with your meat. Chappy Charcoal welcomes you to the Brotherhood. of meat. We get it, even if they don't. Oh, I have greatly enjoyed this. Okay. Meat is your media. Oh, guys, we are coming alive. Meat is your media. All right. Well, we're reaching the end here, so let's read back what we did today. I had such fun. So I called this section Selling Our Grievances, which is, the premise again is, there's these two, this married couple, they're both work in advertising and they're writing copy for products, but that copy is just soaked in a subtext of them having an argument about domestic chores. Because I kind of feel like that's how a lot of those advertisements feel anyways. So character one is Mortimer B. He's 39. He's in the middle of the age of the bald spot, an average man of average height that wears contacts to work but squints and complains about printing being too small these days when he's at home. His shoulders are often dusted with dandruff. Character 2 is Lavon D. 35. She wears a high practical ponytail most days, likes a fitted suit for work, though things aren't fitting so well these last few years. Let's just say she's gotten good with stitching buttons in her office at work. Not opposed to some domesticity, but enjoys the thrill of making a good sale or chasing a promotion. Wears a thong despite its discomfort because she hates a panty line. Lavon and Mortimer's arguments include who's putting gas in the car, who washes it, garbage, shopping for groceries, cleaning the toilet, making the morning coffee, who washes the sheets. We got to putting the gas in the car, washing the sheets to an extent, and then adding in a thing about barbecuing. The subtext here is that Mortimer feels tired and believes that women shouldn't be working but should care for his home. However, he sees himself as progressive and knows they need money. Lavon tried in the honeymoon period of the marriage to satisfy this unfair requirement of Mortimer, and in doing so became resentful. She now wishes she could get even with him, and because she feels somewhat responsible for her predicament, is avoiding direct conversation that might force that fact to the surface. Mortimer's copy for Lose, Gas, and Dash. So this is the first lob in the fight. Lose, Gas, and Dash is quicker than a wink. You're coming home from work and want to get to your castle to kick up your feet. But oh no, someone has used the car's gas, but shockingly not refilled it. Dun dun dun. Once again, it falls to you, despite how tired you are from a long day of work. So you pick the classic Lose, Gas, and Dash conveniently on your way home because it is the quickest fueling in the Northeast, and they even have always hot food such as tasty pizzas and chicken wings, ready to go for dinner. So even though you have to get gas once again since no one else does it, even though they use it as well, you can at least get out quick with a dinner that they also won't like but you'll love. Lose, Gas, and Dash. They understand how hard a day's work can be. I'm going to pluralize that. Lavon's copy for Little Lisa's laundry powder, which is a response to the thing we've just read. Little Lisa's Quick Wash Laundry Powder. Powerful on stains. Simple enough for a man. It's time again that you go to the unpopular aisle of the grocery store alone. While the boys browse snacks and meats, you know what needs doing most. When they're done flipping meat and dipping chips, then the real work begins. The stains on their shirts. You're a busy lady, though. You have a job, a house to run, and an intrusive, socially defined beauty routine that they just will never understand. You don't have time for their manly stains, but you know detergents are just too complicated for the simpler sex. Copy note, include picture of pink office shirt with confused man mixing colored and white laundry. Little Lisa's Quick Wash Laundry Powder to the rescue. It's a cup of soap for the laundry and a glass of wine for you. It's so simple even a man could do it. But since they won't, they've gone to the basement with some heat lamp chicken wings from the gas station. At least it's easy for you. Little Lisa's Quick Wash Laundry Powder. If it's sticky, use this quickie. Mortimer's copy for Charcoal Chappie's Big Taste Briquettes. Charcoal Chappie's Big Taste Briquettes. For when the meat needs a man's touch. I got through it. Barbecuing is often misunderstood, particularly by women more satisfied by a salad than a good piece of meat. But you're a man who recognizes meat on a grill is as rustic as it is a fine art with lineage to the exotic lands of Hawaii and the good old South. You are ready to join the lineage of brothers at the grill, despite it being really hot and genuinely difficult work to get right. Sure, anyone could just flip some meat on some fire, but you know you need the care of a good smoldering briquette. You need Charcoal Chappie's refined barbecue magic. Your wife doesn't understand why you're not getting the cheap stuff, but you know for all that hard, sweaty, really quite difficult, despite how it looks from the outside work of finessing the fine flavors of your meat from the subtle heat is not possible with just some generic briquettes. You are going to join the lineage of men working their meat to the best it can be. You are a brother bonded in smoke, artists akin to Monet or Picasso. You are a brother ready to paint with your meat. Meat is your media. Chappie Charcoal welcomes you to the Brotherhood of Meat. We get it, even if they don't. Big Drew says these would be great for film noir short vignettes for YouTube. Yeah. I don't know what I'd do for visuals, but I will genuinely consider it, because if I can figure out how to like put visuals to that in a simpler way, because actually I've started some projects mainly in January and February. I started some video projects to follow up on that one that I did around Christmas. And the problem always was, like, how do you fill the visual space? Like, you have a concept, but it doesn't really work unless you can fill the visual space as well. And that's really tricky. You need, like, B-roll or something interesting to look at. And it's hard because I don't really have access to a lot of places. And I can't really film that much outdoors for a few reasons. But I will think about it, because I think this could be pretty funny. Well, I'm glad that worked out, because in my head, I thought it could work. And again, like, the premise of this came from the idea that whenever I've read that kind of copy, I always feel like it's the subtext of somebody, somebody who's just mad at their spouse about something. Like, it always feels that way. The other thing that it does, I want to show you a couple more here just before we break off. The other thing that it does here is it's weirdly sexualized. I guess not weirdly, because I guess the point is that sex sells. But like leather in particular, leather always has this strange, harsh sexual undertone. So I'm going to read this. Like a late night DJ announcing some sort of smoldery song. Burnt fries, burnt sugar, burnt charcoal, burnt cherry, deep, sizzling colors with dark, rich undertones. It takes hours of staining, burnishing, and polishing to achieve this exclusive fry look on leather. Imagine how good it will look on you. You're like, it's leather, man. Why are you writing about leather like this? Yeah, Big Drew noticed. Check out this Winnie the Pooh. I don't really have anything to add to this other than I wonder if I can get it in the shot. Let me shrink this up a bit and move it down. There we go. It says, "We like your style, Pooh." Look at this Pooh. His eyes are literally red. They're red and there's black. So it's not like they're just a red bead. There's black pupils in a red eye. Who? He has black lips. It's kind of hard to read this one. Let's see what it says. I don't think I actually read this one. It's Pooh for President by Sears. Winnie the Pooh, a front-running candidate and great-looking clothes for kids. Quality, style, great fit, easy care, all standard Pooh policy. Pooh promises freedom of choice too, with loads of mix and match separates that go together beautifully in sizes 3 to 6X. So come on, hop on Pooh's bandwagon. You'll like his style. It's weird that a character that never wears pants is selling them. And you can win a trip. This is like one of the most terrifying iterations of a famous character I've ever seen. Who in their right mind went Pooh? The one with the red eyes. And they're like, no, there's no animation where he has red eyes. Yeah, but we all kind of feel like they should be red? No. What are you talking about? I mean, this one's hard to read. I won't read them all, but like, this is another kind of weirdly sexual reference to leather in a car. I don't understand why they do it. To be honest, most of them. Oh, this one had one of my favorite lines. It's really hard to see even for me, but it says here that walking a mile burns the same number of calories as running a mile, which is a lie. That's a flat out lie. They're selling walking shoes, but that's a lie by many measures. The speed at which you close distance makes a big difference in how much calorie burning you do. Because little kids Donald ducking it is a major fashion statement. Oh, because of the pantless thing. Okay, well, I'm rambling now. I really enjoyed our passive aggressive argument. That is sort of my little insight. I've done bits and pieces on subtext and writing before, but I was being pretty blatant about the subtext there for comedic purposes. But when you read conversations in books, or if you happen to write short stories and stuff for yourself, subtext is really important to having any kind of depth and tension to a conversation. Because even though your reader might not always pick up on all the subtext in a conversation, most conversations contain some kind of subtext anyways, so they feel more realistic, period. Anyways, thank you everybody for coming by to another episode of the Varietal Show. We'll be back next week. Tuesdays and Thursdays is 6:30. Tuesday is Fireside Fairy Tales, and Thursday is this, Writing Live together. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked it, because obviously doing a niche thing on YouTube, always need the support. Thank you everybody who came by, Big Drew, GS, and everybody who lurked in the chat. I appreciate your continued support immensely. GS says it was fun, Rory. Thank you. You always think of the most fun things. Well, thank you so much. And you guys don't have to go home, but you got to get out of my shop so I can cash out. Thank you so much for being here. Now get out of my shop.